Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears come paint. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears come paint. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears come paint. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fears come paint. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah!
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening from the beautiful Chicagoland Speedway here at the Metalheads Truck Series, as it is the Paper Cuts 150 here today, man. This is going to be a great show, another amazing race, 150 laps of racing action here for all these drivers to try to navigate and work their way up and into victory lane here this evening, as we're going to get ready to see who's going to be our next winner here, or potentially our next repeat winner here on the year. Qualifying has come to a close and drivers will get ready to jump out onto the racetrack here for their for the start of this race here. We're going to get ready to grid these guys up and get them ready to rock and roll for our main feature event. We do see our second place driver already loaded into the sim. He's ready to rock and roll here this evening. It is the 196 ride. It's Caleb Kleiner. Kleiner will start in position number 2. To his inside, it's his teammate in the 318. The NOS Energy Majula Safe Speed Shop. Team CFM Esports number 318 of Matthew Catania. Starting in position number 3, it's Joshua Moore in the 51 to his outside. In the 133, it's the Menards ride. That is Ashley Ellison Jr. Starting in position number 5 in the 01, the Hoonigan machine, that is Rooster Rodden. To his outside in the Napa Auto Parts number 27, it is Nick Gardner there in 6, and right behind him in row number 4 in the 40 ride, that is Nathan Nixon, who will start in 7th. To his outside in the Sinclair Dino Care number 6 machine, it is Rusty Modesty. And then we see Michael Madden and Keith Prince rounding out our top 10 here this evening. Then we see Daniel Dow, the 13 of Mark Beverly, Skyler Barry there in that 46 ride, the 92 of Clinton Woodby, Nate Cogdell there in the Paper Cuts Big Red Custom Sonic Graphic Designs 00 ride in position number 16 here this evening as Bruce Bernard. Right behind him, we do see Jesse Calloway, John Herbert there in that Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters number 87 ride as Joe Bennett back there. In the final position on the racetrack is, unfortunately, we were supposed to have Joshua Moore start in 3rd. Joshua is down pit side here. He is not out on the racetrack as of right now. And for the 51, he'll have to start this feature event from pit road. That is a tough break, obviously setting him back early on. That will move the inside lane up a position here. So a little bit closer to the front of the field here for the drivers back there outside the top 4. As Joel Moore, Joel coming in showing the love, says let's go Joshua Moore, coming in showing the love there for Mr. Joshua this evening. Unfortunately for Joshua, already running into some adversity. He'll have to try to battle back from that one as Matthew Catania will get ready to see this green flag fly. As Catania will see the pace truck make the hard left-hand turn back down pit side. And here we go as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here from Chicagoland Speedway. Matthew Catania leads us down into corner number 1. His teammate there to the outside is the 196 machine as there you do see Mr. Joshua Moore. Moore down on the apron here trying to get that truck rolling here. Now he's able to rejoin the field here, and luckily enough he's not going to go a lap down or really have too many issues here, and he'll get slotted in right around, I'm going to say, about the 17th position, 18th position out there on the racetrack, as we do see another driver, that's Ashley Ellison Jr., unfortunately having to serve a pit road penalty here. The Menards number 133 having to come down pit side and make this pass-through penalty here this evening. Tough break there for the 133. We'll have to wait and see if he can bounce back from that. As out in front, it is that 196 of Caleb Kleiner. Kleiner able to take the early race lead away from his teammate here as Matthew Catania stays back there in position number 2. Rooster Rodden there in 3rd with Nathan Nixon in position number 4. And now for all the 133 fans, all the Ashley Ellison rides and fans in the stands here, luckily enough, Ashley is just headed down through corner number 1 and 2, back down the back straightaway here. Shouldn't go a lap down as of yet, but he is the closest driver to potentially going a lap down here this evening. There's our race leaders, not too far away from him here. They're only quickly rolling up to his back bumper here, so he's got to be fairly careful. Doesn't want to make too many mistakes, doesn't want to give up too much time, trying to keep himself on the lead lap as Caleb Kleiner there in the top position with Matthew Catania in position number 2. Rooster Rodden there in 3rd with Nathan Nixon in position number 4, and looking for more here early on as the Sinclair Dino Care number 6 ride of Rusty Modesty. Rusty jumps up into position number 5 here on the speedway as the Sinclair Dino Care. I did not know that was a gas station, chat. I did not know that was a gas station down in the U.S. until recall just recently watching some of the Ryan Trahan 50 States in 50 Days, and they stopped off at a couple Sinclairs, and I did not know that was a gas station. I didn't know that was a thing, and we've seen Rusty out there riding that paint scheme for a long time. I honestly thought maybe it was like a child care service, like a daycare or something like that, like Sinclair's, and instead of calling it child care, they just call it Dino Care, like it's for kids. I don't know. That's kind of what was going through my time every time I saw this car out there on the racetrack. But I've been a little bit more cultured now, and I do know that Sinclair is a gas station. Did not know that. Up here, Canada, we don't got those. We don't got those. No, sir. No, sir. As Rusty, they're in fifth, trying to hang on to that fifth position, as Clinton would be right there with them, as Clinton rolls in position number 6 right now. Him and Skylar Berry both up 7 positions from where they started. They're on the hunt to the front here this evening, as tire wear will play a fairly major aspect of this race. Now, you can take it easy on the tires, try to run these stages a little bit longer, or you can be a little bit more aggressive, try to gain track position, a quick hurry out there on the speedway. It's going to be a tight battle with that all evening long. These drivers only have 2 sets of tires back there behind pit wall for this 150 lap race. So for these cats, they got to be very, very cautious. Obviously, they want to use these tires up for as long as possible, try to throw a set on maybe midway through this race, and then maybe, halfway through that final stint, probably throw that second and final set onto their race cars, or maybe even trying to hang on to those until way later, banking on potentially a caution flag that they could use to their advantage to have the freshest tires out there and just drive right around everybody and try to put themselves up into victory lane. Now, there may be a lot of different variations of pit strategies and what these drivers are going to do, so we'll have to keep an eye on that and see kind of how that plays out here this evening, as Beverly Rapp says, "Let's go, Joshua Moore," cheering on that 51 right of Moore as well here this evening. Moore was supposed to start in position number 3. Now, we had to start down pit side. As he started down pit road, we saw the field virtually go around him here early on in that opening lap. He virtually went from starting in 3rd to all of a sudden starting back in about the 17th, 18th position. Now he's battled back. He once again sits inside the top 10, and he's looking to try to navigate his way around this 27 right of Nick Gardner and try to move himself up and into position number 8 on the speedway. Looks like he will take that spot from Gardner. Gardner will slide back to 9th as Mark Beverly, there rounding out our top 10, is look out, that 05 of Joe Bennett jumps up, scrapes that outside wall. You got to be very, very cautious of that. You do not want to do that too often. You get up into that wall, you make too much contact here and there, and all of a sudden you can be behind the 8 ball in a quick hurry. As we do see Michael Madden and Daniel Dow, they've been really off the pace here. They've been running a whole different strategy here. Same with Keith Prince and the number 17 of Bruce Bernard. They've been running quite a bit slower lap times here. Everyone else at the front of the field are running inside the 30-second bracket. Some of them running in about the 31-second bracket. But these guys are back here running in the 32-second area here. They are really off the pace, just trying to save as much tire and fuel potentially out there on the speedway early in this race, especially knowing that we're going to get a stage break here not too long from now. So a stage break is just around the corner. Let me take a look here at it. This says, stage break is at the completion of lap number 30. So both these drivers, they have wins. They can gamble here a little bit, trying to maybe pick up another win or put them into a position to be better later in this race. And for right now, they're trying to just keep their cars nice and clean out of trouble. They're trying to save those tires, early on here this evening. Is already about 12 laps down here for all these drivers. 12 laps in as their other teammate, the Sparkle and Shine Anything EC number 40 right, Nathan Nixon here. He is leading this race. He's got the 0-1 though. A Rooster Run to his outside as this lead Pac-Man. They are just zooming out there on the speedway. There is no holding back here for any of these drivers. There's not a whole lot of saving going on. These guys are really duking it out, and if you're inside the top 5, you can earn yourself some extra bonus points here towards the playoffs. And now for the drivers that are off the pace and running a little bit slower out there on the speedway, they got to be careful. They're just headed down through corner number 1 and 2 there, just exiting corner 2 as our race leaders are entering corner number 1. So about half a track, just a little less than half a track in between them and that next group of cars to potentially go a lap down. And for the number 133, Ashley Ellison Jr., also potentially at risk here of going a lap down. Unfortunately for this 133, is running quite a bit slower than that lead pack right now, and they are catching up to this 133 in a quick hurry, as he's about 29 seconds behind our race leaders, and they're only about a couple seconds away from potentially putting him a lap down here today. As the 0-1, a Rooster Rodden does jump up, takes that race lead away, as the number 40, Nathan Nixon, slides back now to the 5th position, battling door to door with our pole sitter and our early race leader, that 318 machine of Matthew Catania. Catania looking to try to get back around him. Here comes Skylar Berry in that pink Ghost Energy number 46. Ride is down across the line. They will complete lap number 15. So we're already about halfway through this first stage. So halfway through this stage, we're getting closer and closer to that stage break, and that's where things could really get up into the air here for that tire strategy, for the pit strategy, and everything else. Obviously, drivers right now, they're really on the throttle. They're pushing hard here at the front of the field, and then after these guys, you see Joshua Moore back here. He's going to run a little bit slower than what they are. Same with John Herbert. Some of these other drivers still running at about that 31-second bracket for majority of these cats up until just outside our top 15. Then we see Bruce Bernard running 32-second lap times. Michael Madden running 32.5s. Same with Daniel Dow, Keith Prince. They're running 32.5s. They're virtually have been 2 seconds to 2.5 seconds slower every single lap. Then our race leaders just kind of waiting in the wind here, trying to make sure that once the stage comes to a close, that they could potentially have really good tires on their rides compared to everybody else. And we don't have another stage break. We could go clean and green for the rest of this race after our stage break. So it's a good gamble, good bet here, obviously giving up the stage points, but also trying to put themselves into a position to maybe win this race here this evening off the strategies. The 0-1, a Rooster Rodden continues to lead the way. Rooster nice and easy down through corner number 1, or corner 3 and 4 here, and now they're only about a straightaway away from potentially putting those other drivers a lap down out there on the racetrack. They're not too far away from them here, only about a set of corners, so they've got to be very careful. They got to be very cautious, but with the saving here that they are doing, it is allowing them to kind of save as much fuel and tires that they need. So if the race leaders do catch up to them here for a few laps, then they can kind of put the foot to the throttle, probably open up a bit of a lead. But I know that they do not want to use their tires up here in this opening stint. They want to try to be as easy on these tires until that lap 30 break here for that first stage, as 19 laps are completed. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to continue on the pace that they are. They're going to have to try to pick it up at least a little bit here to try to keep these guys back there at bay. Now, I don't think they want to, but they're going to have to. And last time around, we did see Daniel Dow run his virtual fastest lap of this race with a 31.69. Keith Prince ran a 31.71. So these drivers have stepped up the pace a little bit here. They've probably realized that maybe they're giving up a little bit too much time to our race leaders, and they got to be cautious to not go a lap down out there on the speedway. As Rooster Rodden rolls there in the top spot, Clinton would be back in second. Rusty Modesty there in third with Caleb Kleinert and Nathan Nixon, our top 5 here on the speedway. Then we see Skylar Berry and Matthew Catania rounding out our top 7 here at the front of the field. About 3 seconds back, you do see Joshua Moore, and about 3 seconds behind him, you see the 87 rider John Herbert. 3 seconds behind him, you see Nick Gardner. In about a second and a half back, you do see this number 00, the Paper Cuts. Number 00, the Revco Electrical. 0-0, Nate Cogdell back there at 11th. Mark Beverly, Jesse Calloway, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., Joe Bennett, all right there in that gaggle of cars. And then you see Bruce Bernard a little bit farther forward here, but 4 seconds in front of Daniel Dow and Michael Madden, Keith Prince here. So they're hanging on to it. And 3 seconds behind them, you do see this 133 machine at Ashley Ellison Jr. Ashley trying to keep himself still on the lead lap, trying to do everything he can, knowing that there's still 8 laps left here in this first stage. And our race leaders are not too far off his back bumper still. But now, as these guys continue to push their cars, continue to burn up those tires here at the front of the field, they are running slower and slower lap times out there on the speedway, and it's just going to continue to get worse. And now if there's some different pit strategies, if there's some different ideas here on how to run this first stint of the race, or even the first half of this race, biting whether you want to come down pit side and throw an early set on here after 30 laps. Only having 2 sets back there behind pit wall, though, I feel like that's a little bit too early. I feel a lot of these drivers will maybe come down pit side, get fuel only, and then probably not come back down pit road until probably around lap 75, somewhere in there, get their first set of tires here. And for them, it's going to be tough because the drivers that are saving tires aggressively right now are going to have much better tires when we go back to green flag racing after the stage break. And for Daniel Down, Michael Madden, Keith Prince could be the best plan right here. Just kind of cruise control out there on the racetrack for the first, 30 laps of this race. Wait for that stage break. Just try to keep yourself on the lead lap, and that's exactly what they're doing out there on the speedway. And we'll have to wait and see how the whole strategy and the whole plan here works out for them, as we do see Rooster Rodden continue to lead the way here. He's out in front leading this race, is already, even just after 25 laps of racing action here. 25 laps are completed here by our race leaders, and the tire fall off is about 1.25, almost 1.5 seconds here for majority of these drivers at the front of the field. So that just gives you a pretty good perspective there on how much these tires have already started to fall apart here and get tougher for these drivers to handle and control and everything else out there on the speedway. So it's going to get very, very fun, very, very quick here after this stage. But for right now, Rooster Rodden, he's looking to try to pick up this stage win, earn the extra points that come with the stage win here this evening, and try to help his case out for being one of our playoff drivers here this year. Clinton would be back there in position number 2. Rusty Modesty there in 3rd. Then we see Caleb Kleinert and Matthew Catania now once again rounding out our top 5 as Skylar Berry rolls there in 6th. Nathan Nixon back in 7th. Joshua Moore, John Herbert, and Nick Gardner rounding out our top 10 out there on the speedway. As unfortunately here for Gardner, he continues to fall a little farther and farther back out there on the speedway, but luckily enough, the stage isn't too far away from being done here this evening. Is already 27 laps completed, 3 laps left to go here. Now for Ashley Ellison Jr., he's trying to keep himself on the lead lap here. He knows that the race leaders are right there behind him, but he's been running fairly similar lap times, not giving up too much time here to those race leaders, and that's exactly what he needs to keep on doing. If he does fall a lap down, though, luckily enough, I don't think our race leaders will have enough time to catch that pack in front of him, but there is some drivers. Oh, look out, the 40 ride. Oh no, this tough break here for Nathan Nixon. No caution flag here. It looks like he was planning on coming down pit road. Does look like he's checking up, trying to head down pit side. Just loses the handle of that truck, slides sideways down into the pit lane here, and unfortunately that's going to hurt him quite a bit as he does head down pit road. That's probably going to put him a lap down here, especially having to stop and get that pit stop done. So he may be the first and only car a lap down, as out in front, Rooster Rodden going to click off another lap here. One more lap left to go here in this first stage of the day, as Rodden out in front has a commanding 0.7 of a second lead between himself and Clinton Woodby. Rusty Modesty trying to hold on to 3rd here as Caleb Kleiner trying to take it away from him. The 46 is Skylar Berry around the 318 machine now trying to go after this 196 as the 318 sends it in there deep, really deep, washes up almost into his teammate here. They'll drag race back down across the line here to see who comes home in 4th, and it looks like it will be Caleb Kleinert picking up the 4th position there in the stage. Skylar Berry will come home in 5th. Unfortunately for Matthew Catania, no stage points, but out in front, picking up the stage win, it is Rooster Rodden. Rodden picks up the stage win here this evening. Clinton would be there in 2nd. Rusty Modesty in 3rd with Caleb Kleinert and Skylar Berry there rounding out our top 5, all earning stage points here this evening in this race. Unfortunately for Matthew Catania, he was outside of that pay window, could not get any stage points there, but a valiant effort as he comes home in 6th. Joshua Moore there in 7th. John Herbert, Nick Gardner, and Joe Bennett rounding out our top 10. Callaway back there in 11th with Mark Beverly, Nate Cogdell, the 33 of Jimmy Fitzmaurice, and then we'll have to wait and see how this strategy is going to work out here for Bruce Barnard, Daniel Dow, Michael Madden, Keith Prince, these drivers that were really off the pace right out of the get-go, just trying to save as much as they can. We'll have to wait and see if this is going to play into their hands here, if it's going to work out into their strategies. Ashley Ellison Jr., luckily enough, able to stay on the lead lap right there as well, did not go a lap down. And then for Nathan Nixon, unfortunately, did go a lap down out there on the speedway. And for the 40 ride, should be in position, I do believe, to get the lucky dog, the free pass back on the lead lap. So at least he's got that going for him here today, that he can use that free pass or get the wave around here, one or the other, as we do see Rooster Rodden is going to come down pit side. Looks like pretty much everybody here is going to come down pit road. Everyone's probably going to get some fresh fuel into their race cars. I'm not sure how many drivers are going to elect to potentially get tires here this early in the race. Know that we only got a couple sets. It's, oh man, tough break right there. Rooster got in there a little too far into his box. You do see the 51 of Joshua Moore in there, the 196, Matthew Catania. Everyone's sitting down here. Doesn't look like there's a lot of drivers getting their trucks jacked up or anything else, so it doesn't look like anyone's really getting tires. Everyone's just getting a bunch of fuel. And for Keith Prince, he somehow jumps out in front here. Maybe he didn't need as much fuel as everybody else, and all of a sudden he's going to be at the front of the pack here for this restart. So potentially a good break there for the 3 machine. As Caleb Kleiner comes out in second, Clinton Woodby, Skylar Berry, Joshua Moore, Nick Garner there in 6. Joel Bennett, Rooster Rodden, Mark Beverly, Jesse Calloway, our top 10 as we'll get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing as Cogdell there in that beautiful 0-0 ride rolls in position. And number 11 out there, the Turbo HP Oil. Number 00 rolls there in the 11th position. Jimmy Fitzmaurice there in 12th with Rusty Modesty back in 13th. Slower pit stop there for Rusty. Michael Madden there in 14th. Matthew Catania back in position number 15 with Daniel Dow, Bruce Bernard, Ashley Ellison Jr., Nathan Nixon, and John Herbert bringing up the rear of the field here, as we did see Nathan Nixon did get that wave around the lucky dog. He's back onto the lead lap here, and he'll get ready to trying to join this battle back at the front of the pack here, see if he can try to work his way back into the action here today. As we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to battle here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You guys know what to do. If you haven't done it already for us, it's absolutely free to do. Helps us out a ton. Make sure you guys do us a favor, man. Hit the like button on the stream right now. Hit that thumbs up button for us over on YouTube, on Facebook. Hit the like button for us. Hit that subscribe button as well. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. And turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming. That way you never miss any of the Green Flag Racing. As here we go, getting ready to go back to battle. It's the 92 and the 196, Caleb Kleiner, Clinton Woodby, 1 and 2 here on the speedway. I do believe the control car is that 196 ride. Caleb Kleiner is electing to use the outside lane. The 92 unfortunately has to take that bottom groove here, as we do see Skylar Berry, Joshua Moore, and now in the 27 of Nick Garner rounding out our top 5. As here we go back to Green Flag Racing here at Chicagoland Speedway, as the 196 of Caleb Kleiner quickly gets back onto the loud pedal here, looking to try to keep all these drivers back there at bay. But now we're going to get into that situation where who's got tires, who didn't take tires, who was saving there during that first stint, who kind of has something left in the tank. It's going to be a dogfight all the way down here to the end, and we may see some caution flags. We may see it stay clean and green. It'll be interesting to see how this one will play out, as Gene coming in, dropping that thumbs up here on the broadcast. I appreciate that, Gene, showing the love here in this one. As, man, some absolutely amazing racing out there, man. These guys have been doing a fantastic job, and really clean and green, no caution flags other than the stage break right there. And so far on this restart, everyone's kind of keeping things kind of even. Everyone's kind of rolling nicely out there, not making too much contact or making too much noise. You do see a little 2-3 wide still throughout the field, as you do see this 15 ride. And Michael Madden, he's trying to race his way back up to the front. He was one of those drivers that was kind of hanging back, laying back there during that first stint. Now, we did see Matthew Catania spend a little extra time down pit side here as well. Catania, he's back in position number 9 on the speedway, so we'll have to wait and see kind of how this is going to play out here for a bunch of these drivers, with potentially fresh tires, the drivers that were saving an enormous amount of tire there during that first run, and how it's going to kind of all come together and work together here this evening. As you do see Nathan Nixon right there. Look out, Mark Beverly! Oh, Beverly in the 6th. They get tied together. There's the caution flag. Oh no, our first caution flag for incident here this evening as Mark Beverly gets a little contact here. Faster trucks back behind him, and you see this number 15 of Michael Madden trying to get around this Asheville Outlaws ride. Unfortunately, he makes a little contact into that left rear quarter panel, gets him sideways on the racetrack. Mark's trying to save it. They're still basically touching here. Luckily enough, the 15 does kind of straighten him back out there, gets him kind of pointed back in the right direction, but he still loses all that speed siding there, and unfortunately, Rusty Modesty nowhere to go, ends up getting into him there, sends him down the racetrack, and then oh man, the 33 checking up. The 133 did not get the memo as soon, and unfortunately just kind of drives under there, gets a big piece of him here, and pretty solid damage there to the 133 and to the number 33 ride right here. As they'll get a great look at this, as there's the contact in front of them, and then there's the contact between the two of them. Heavy front end damage for the 133, heavy rear end damage for the 33 here. Let's play this all the way back here and see if we can get another look at it. As Mark Beverly trying to hold these guys off. They're coming with a big head of steam here, and they work down to the middle of them, down low, and all of a sudden the 15 just, not sure if he gets loose or the 13 comes down. Nonetheless, they make a little contact and then keep making contact, and all of a sudden, yeah, man, Rusty Modesty just nowhere to go there for Rusty. That's a tough break there for that Sinclair Dyno Care number 6 ride as he sees it coming. He's trying to get out of the way. Unfortunately, he's expecting to roll down or up the track, and all of a sudden, here he is parked right in the middle, and guys right into the back end of him there. The 33 did get some damage to the back end of that 6 ride, and then that's going to put Rusty up into the outside fence, getting even a little bit more contact and damage there for that Sinclair Dyno Care ride as the RMD Graphics and Wraps ride, unfortunately not having the thing that he was hoping for there. Obviously, that's going to set him back. That's going to hurt him up here a bit. And then we see a lot of other drivers now head down pit side. They're going to be led down and back out onto the track here by Nathan Nixon, Daniel Down, Michael Madden there in 12th. And then we see Jesse Calloway, John Herbert, Keith Prince, Rusty Modesty back in 16th. Bruce Bernard, Mark Beverly down pit side looking to get that car repaired. Same with Jimmy Fitzmaurice and that 133. As unfortunately there for Ashley Ellison Jr. trying to get this car fixed up. Obviously a lot of front end damage. Hopefully he's got a good crew back there. Hopefully they can wrench away at it, get him fixed up, and back out there on the speedway without losing too many laps or any laps at all. As I do believe he's already lost at least a lap out there on the speedway, and as our race leaders kind of roll by him here, he's probably going to lose another lap as well, so could be about 2 laps down. He may be able to get in front of him here. I'm not too sure. It does look like he's able to roll out right there and just stay right there on the racetrack and in front of these guys. So that's at least a good break for him right there on that aspect. Good break. Unfortunately, though, he is still a lap down. He'll have to look for the lucky dog, the free pass on the next caution flag that we have, if we have another caution flag, and we'll get ready to stack him up, rack him up, get ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. The green flag about to come back out for Caleb Kleinert, as Kleinert hangs on to the race lead. Clinton Woodby there to his outside. Joshua Moore, Skylar Berry, Nick Gardner, Joe Bennett, Rooster Rodden, Matthew Catania, Nate Cogdell, and Nathan Nixon. Our top 10. Nixon is the first car out there on the racetrack on the different pit strategy there. Obviously coming down pit road there on lap 39, and I'm assuming these drivers still didn't take tires, but they're obviously getting that extra little bit of fuel now. That extra, 3, 4, maybe 5 laps extra fuel, that can make a difference, especially if we do see this stay clean and green. It could be the difference maker between going on, a 2-stop strategy, maybe a 1-stop strategy here to finish off this race. We'll have to wait and see kind of how this plays out, how it all shapes up, and where these drivers can put themselves here late in this race. As there you go, pace truck back down off of the racing surface, and we will go back to green flag racing as the 92 of Clinton Woodby. Great restart there to the outside lane. He will hang on to the race lead as Caleb Kleiner will slide back into second, but he's got that University of Levette, hopefully I'm saying that right. The University of Levette, number 51 of Joshua Moore right there in position. Number 3 trying to work the Hayes back bumper. Here comes that 46 right of Skylar Berry as well as the number 27. That's Nick Gardner. Gardner right there inside the top 5, and look who's back up here. It is that 318 machine, Matthew Catania. Catania right there in position, number 6. We'll have to wait and see if Catania can get that one rail NOS Energy paper cuts. A 318 machine up here to the front of the field once again as he's working down low and around the 27 ride of Nick Gardner, and right there on their back bumper you do see that 40 ride of Nathan Nix and the 05 of Joe Bennett, the number 15 of Michael Madden. Madden's right there as well. He's ready to pounce in, try to jump up here and maybe earn himself a couple extra spots here on the racetrack, as we'll have to wait and see kind of how this all plays out here on the evening. Obviously still a lot of laps left to go, still a lot of racing left here from the beautiful Chicagoland Speedway. Chicago just off in the horizon here. You can kind of see the skylights and all of the major city skyscrapers down through corner number 4 here, as it's kind of in behind the grandstands a little bit. They're just off on the horizon. Actually, I don't even see where the heck is Chicago. You used to be able to see the scenery. I'm not sure where it is out there, but maybe it's a little too dark. Maybe they need to turn the lights on over there in Chi-Town and give us a better look there at the beautiful Windy City, as right now it is the number 92 ride of Clinton Woodby who leads this race. Woodby out in front, showing these drivers that he may be the car to beat, as we do see the 40 ride Nathan Nixon. Nixon quickly up and into second here. Here comes that 318 of Matthew Catania as Caleb Kleiner slides back. Down low, though, here comes that number 15 ride, Michael Madden. Madden down low looking to race his way for the first time here this evening up into the top 5 on the racetrack. His teammate Daniel Dow right there with him. There's that 51 ride of Joshua Moore. Moore, unfortunately, sliding backwards here. Honestly, all the different strategies, entire game, and everything else for all these drivers. We'll have to wait and see how it kind of all meshes together, how it all kind of works out there. That last caution flag may have been a little bit more of a bouncing board there for a lot of these drivers, with the tires having that extra time of cool down and heat up, and everything else could potentially wear out or make the tires a little bit more even with those guys that were saving aggressively there in that first run, in the first stage of the day, as they were running 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds slower than our race leaders right out of the get-go. Now, they did not come down pit road to get tires. They came down pit road a couple times to get fuel, and they're trying to navigate their way up to the front here. You see Madden there in 6, Daniel Dow's back there in position number 7, and we'll have to wait and see how that kind of works out for him here this evening. As right now it's all Clinton Woodby. Woodby doing a fantastic job. He's got this race lead by 2.6 seconds between himself and that beautiful winning bid diecast and card breaks Goldberg 92 ride. Is 2.5 seconds between himself and Nathan Nixon. Nixon rolls there in second, Catania in third, and then you do see Caleb Kleiner trying to hang on to position number 4 here once again, but the 27 of Nick Gardner trying to take it away, and there's Michael Madden right there on their back bumper. Madden looking to try to get a 2-for-1 here, wanting to move around both of them and slide his way up into position number 4 on the racetrack, as he's all over the back bumper there of that 196, and they actually make maybe a little bit of contact right there. We did see some sparks off the wall there for the 196, as it looked like Caleb Kleiner got up and kissed that outside fence. Luckily enough, doesn't look like any major damage. He was able to keep on rolling and trying to keep that car out of trouble, as he does it again there through corner number 4. He's got to be very, very careful with that. You get into the wall a little too hard, and it can ruin your night in a quick hurry. As Clinton Woodby, though, Woodby out in front, looking to just try to run away with this one and try to pull away, trying to open up a big gap here between himself and the rest of the field. But he's got to know that there's still a lot of laps here. Still a lot of laps. A lot of racing, a lot of time to move forward, a lot of time to potentially fall back. Is down across the line. They will complete lap number 50, and we got 100 laps left to go here this evening. So 100 laps of racing action left here this afternoon, night. It's still light outside up here in Canada, so it feels like it's afternoon, but it is at nighttime. It is getting closer to 9 o'clock here now as Clinton Woodby leads the way here. Nixon back in second, slowly but surely trying to track him down. Matthew Catania right there as well, as they got a pretty sizable gap between them and now our fourth place driver Nick Gardner. He's about 2 seconds behind Catania and Nixon, and about 5 seconds back of our race leader Michael Madden right there on his back bumper, as Daniel Dow already making his way around that number 196 of Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert, unfortunately, now on the backslide out there on the speedway. He's got to be careful and hope that he doesn't hurt himself too much here as he tries to battle back down to the inside of that 2 ride of Daniel Dow, as Caleb Kleinert trying to keep himself right in this fight here this evening. But lurking in the backgrounds, you do see that pink ghost ride. That is Skylar Berry, Rooster Ronin right behind him. And you see Nate Cogdell, Joshua Moore, Keith Prince back in 12th here now. I'm amazed we haven't seen Prince move too far forward here, as he was one of those drivers early on in this race, kind of really taking a step back and just rolling slower lap times there and trying to save his equipment here for this, final stint of the day. Is obviously a 30-lap run for our first stage break of the day, and that's the only stage break of the day. We don't have another stage break. We don't have any other bonus points to hand out for the stages here this evening. So virtually, we ran that 30-lap run. We got 120 laps of racing action left to go, and I think for a lot of these drivers, I think their game plan is going to be probably either to go somewhere around that halfway marker down pit side, so somewhere around lap 75 to probably come down pit road. Other drivers are maybe thinking, try to split up a little bit more or less, or I'm not sure how they're going to play it out here. Only 2 sets of tires back behind pit wall. How do they want to kind of game plan their strategy and how to use those tires and put themselves into the best position possible late in this race? As Woodby continues to lead the way here, and he continues to open up his lead as he now has about 4 seconds between himself and this 40 rider Nathan Nixon. Nixon and Matthew Catania right there in position number 2 and 3. They got 2.5 seconds all the way back here to this 27 rider Nick Gardner. As Gardner, he's still having this 15 machine of Michael Madden hassle his back bumper. Madden trying to jump up inside the top 4. Nick Gardner trying to hang on to that 4th position with Daniel Dow, Caleb Kleinert, Skylar Berry, Rooster Ronin, and Nate Cogdell rounding out our top 5 out there on the speedways. Let's see if we can jump on board here for a lap or so. If maybe, let's see if we can jump on board with that 46 of Skylar Berry and take a look at what he's doing here behind the cockpit, behind the wheel, and trying to navigate Chicagoland Speedway. Here he is, down and out of corner number 4. You head down through this big, wide, arcing front straightaway here. Now, you can use that apron here in regular NASCAR. I'm sure you can probably use it here as well. But you can go down on that apron. The white line is not the boundary. The yellow line down there that's kind of outlining the grass, that is the boundary area. So even down the back straightaway, down the front straightaway, if you want to kind of sharpen the corner up, maybe save a little bit of time by running the apron out there, you can do so to make some passes and try to steal some, maybe race leads or checker flags away from drivers late in this race. So we'll have to wait and see when drivers start to elect to use that bit of an apron to try to navigate and work their way up towards the front of the field. Now, sometimes it can help you, sometimes it can hurt you. It's very, very dirty down there. It's got a lot of dirt, muck, grime, and everything else, so you got to use it at your own risk, rolling on that apron, especially trying to carry any sort of speed out there on the racetrack. So it's a tough spot. It's a bit of a love-hate relationship there, as you do see. I do believe this is the number 01 ride, Rooster Ronin driving right on around Skylar Berry and that 196 ride of Caleb Kleiner. Kleiner will slide back into position number 8 now as Rooster works his way up into 7th. As out in front, it is Clinton Woodby continuing to lead the way here as nice and easy down through corner number 3 and out of 4 here at Chicagoland Speedway. Clinton Woodby will complete lap number 59 here this evening. So 59 laps down here in this race, and we get, a little bit farther forward here in the first chapter of this event. And for Clinton Woodby, he's just hoping that the rest of these chapters are all about him and that he can keep this Goldberg winning bid diecast number 92 ride out in front and keep all these other drivers back there at bay. Excuse me, as we do see still a pretty sizable gap in. That gap is continuing to grow more and more and more here. It's not like he's giving up time to our second place driver, Nathan Nixon, virtually about 6 seconds back now here in position number 2. Matthew Catania there in that third spot on the racetrack, and then we see Nick Garner and Michael Madden still battling here as well. Their battle is one to continue to keep an eye on, man. Two fantastic drivers, two hard-nosed competitors, and neither one wanting to back up or concede that position or try a different way out there, man. They are right there tied together here this evening. We'll have to see if they can find something, if one of them can try to pull away, if maybe Michael jumps out and gets that race lead, getting the fresh air onto the hood of that 15 ride, may bring it to life and may allow him to quickly catch up to our top 2 cats out there on the speedway, top 3 cats out on the speedways. Clinton Woodby is just absolutely gone here. He's been shot out of a cannon here on the racetrack, and now you do see he's got that 6.5 second lead between himself and Nathan Nixon. Matthew Catania right there as Garner back into position number 5 with the number 15 rider Michael Madden there in 5th. Daniel Dow back in 6th. Rooster Rodden there in 7th with Caleb Kleinert. Skylar Berry, Keith Prince rounding out our top 10. Nate Congdell there in 11th. Jesse Calloway back in 12th with Joe Bennett. Rusty Modesty. Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., John Herbert, Mark Beverly, Bruce Bernard, rounding out our top 18. And then we do see the 51 right here. That is our first driver that was up at the front of the field to come down pit side. So for Joshua Moore, taking that first big swing here this evening, right around lap number 62 here today, comes down pit road. He does go a lap down, so now he's really in that position where he needs drivers to, keep it clean, keep it rolling here, see this whole pit strategy kind of cycle through and see where he kind of stacks up here to everybody else. But right now it's Clinton Woodby, man. Woodby just putting on an absolute clinic here this evening. About 7 seconds now between himself and that 3:18 ride of Matthew Catania. As Catania rolls there in that third position, it's Nathan Nixon right behind him. Nixon rolling there in position number 3. Now they got a pretty sizable lead here, not only between themselves, but also our 4th place driver, Nick Gardner. It's about 2.5 seconds still between second and third, all the way back to our 4th place cat out there on the speedway. And for the number 27 rider, Nick Garner, I'm sure he'd love to close that gap, jump up here, and maybe try to steal a couple spots before their green flag pit stops here this evening, as that's where the next big thing's going to come in, man. Those green flag pit stops, they can make or break your day at the speedway. You have a good run, you get down pit side though a little too quick or a little sideways or anything else, and it can hurt you in a quick hurry, and it can take you right out of the action out there on the speedway. So you got to be very, very cautious of that, as we'll get them all you need to roll out here, man. These guys just put on a great show for us. What's good, Playford? Playford Sheets coming in, showing the love. How are you, Playford? Coming in, showing the love here in this one. As here we go, the 92 ride. Clinton Woodby, he is going to move around the 133. Unfortunately there for Ashley Ellison Jr. I believe that's going to put Ashley now couple laps down here. So a couple laps down now for the 133. Obviously still has that pretty sizable front end damage here. And for the 133 ride, definitely not. And we had this one drawn up. Want to come back strong. Want to have a good race and a solid performance out there. And all of a sudden here at Chicagoland Speedway right out of the gate, he was kind of set back there with the penalty, having to come down pit road in that opening stint, not getting a caution flag until that stage break. He was able to make it through that, able to stay on that lead lap, but that second caution flag shortly after we went back to green flag racing, ended up with some pretty serious front end damage on this 133 ride. Stayed down pit side, ended up losing a lap, came back out, and now that he's been rolling out here under a longer green flag run, has now went 2 laps down out there on the speedway. Being 2 laps down is a significantly more challenging way to come back into a race here this evening, as we do see more drivers, more front runners head down pit side. Here comes Clinton Woodby. Here comes Matthew Catania, the number 27 machine, and Nick Garner down pit side as well, as Nate Congdell, the number 46, is Skylar Berry, the number 46 of Barry there. Cogdell back down pit road here as well in that 00 ride. So right now it looks like about 12 drivers yet to make an additional pit stop here this evening, but we will see more drivers start to head down pit side. So a lot of these drivers that did not come back down pit road there at the lap 37, lap 38 caution flag, where a lot of these other drivers now up inside our top 9, they all came down pit road around lap 39, lap 40, got some fresh fuel into their rides that can make it virtually about an extra, I'd say 5 to 6 laps here over the rest of the field, and we were pretty close to it there with that lap number 70, lap 75 kind of coming down pit side and making their first green flag pit stop to get not only just fuel, but also get some everything else that they need, man. Maybe a little tires onto their cars, maybe a little adjustment out there as well, and see if they can try to race their way up here, put themselves into a good position for later in this race. As right now it's Nathan Nixon who does consume that race lead. He's trying to keep that 92 rider. Clinton Woodby back there at bay. Woodby is going to drive around him though, and that will put him back onto the lead lap. So now we have only 10 drivers on the lead lap out there on the racetrack, and as we say that, we do have another driver down pit road. That is Bruce Bernard. Bernard is going to go a lap down here himself. Beverly also going down a couple laps here as he came down pit road there on lap 69. Has not rolled back out onto the racetrack here, so a heartbreaker there for him as he had to spend an extended period of time down on pit road, but here he comes finally rolling back out onto the track. So good break there for the number 11 ride. In front, it is this number 40 machine as Nathan Nixon will give it up. He'll come down pit side. He's going to bring a sparkle and shine anything EC teammate Daniel Dow right there with them. Their other teammate still rolling out there on the racetrack. Michael Madden going to roll at least another lap here. We'll have to wait and see how many laps he's going to stay out, as right now they're giving up a ton of time to those fresh tires. They are giving up a ton of time, a ton of potential track position here throughout a green flag run. As we do take a look back, you see Nick Gardner here. Gardner last time around ran a 30:02, a 30-second virtually flat lap time here this evening, and he's running, a second in 8/10. He's running 2 seconds or better quicker than these other drivers that are still rolling out there on the racetrack and haven't came back down pit side since lap 39 to potentially get tires or anything else. So he's really taking the school right now. We'll have to wait and see how it all shapes up out there on the speedway. As Keith Prince, though, Prince in that beautiful ASL machine, the American Sign Language ride, rolls there in the top spot. He's got the pole position here this evening as he's going to take that Tiger Contracting number 3 ride and head down pit road here, and that should consume all these drivers and should put us right around our halfway marker here, and should put this 92 rider Clinton Woodby back out in front of the field. So as he rolls down the back straightaway and into core number 3 here, we take a look back at the drivers behind him. Nick Gardner back in what would be position number 2 here. He's up about 5 seconds or so behind Clinton Woodby, and they've got virtually the same lap times here for their their competition right there, and for all these pit stops. Obviously back quite a bit of ways here, obviously a little bit more of the same tire wear than what Clinton has, and it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of plays out, where these drivers will end up, as there's a lot of fresher tires back here behind them. You see that number 15 rider Michael Madden. He's up and into position number 6 here after coming down pit side. Now he does have not too much better tires, but 5 laps, and 5 laps can make a pretty significant advantage here at a racetrack like Chicagoland. So he's looking to try to move his way back up inside of the top 5 here this evening, as he's got Nate Cogdell and Matthew Catania right there in front of him. Both these drivers were down pit side on lap number 68. Same with Skylar Berry. Lap 68 for Nick Gardner and Clinton Woodby. Now it's all 5 of those drivers that have jumped out into the top 5, but now Michael Madden quickly making work of that 318 rider. Matthew Catania gets around the NOS Energy 318 machine. Catania slides back now into 6, as here comes Daniel Dow. Here comes Joe Bennett, Caleb Kleinert. A lot of these other drivers starting to work their way up towards the front of the field as well. And bear with me. If you do hear fireworks off in the distance, chat, it is Canada Day up here in Canada. I guess tomorrow technically is, but I know all weekend, and I'm sure probably tonight and everything else, there'll be a lot of fireworks off in the distance going off here in town. So if you do hear some of those going off, don't worry about it. It's not gunshots. Not gunshots. I don't live in that type of an area, okay? It's a very good area. As Clinton Woodby, though, he leads the way here in this one. He's out in front. He's got that winning bid Goldberg ride at the front of the field, looking to try to keep all these other drivers back there at bay. But Nick Gardner, he's closing the gap here in a quick hurry. Clinton, even after coming down pit side here, he hasn't really been running super fast lap times. Last time around was about a second slower than Nick Gardner, so he's running quite a bit off the pace here than a lot of these other drivers that came down pit road on lap number 68. So it's kind of got me feeling like potentially maybe a mistake out of the 92 ride there during that first pit stop. That caution at our stage break, I feel like maybe he may have put tires on. That's what drove him out in front and then opened up quite a bit of a lead there before everyone came back down pit side. Now he's trying to balance these tires out, so we didn't take tires this time down pit road. Everyone else finally put their fresh set on, and now they're just rolling back up to the 92 ride and now starting to roll right on around him here. Now he's got to just hope that his tires can hold on here, try to get it to somewhere around lap number, I'm going to say probably 110-ish area, somewhere in there. Drivers coming down on a pit road on lap 68, and then some of them going to about lap 73-ish, and everything else there really doesn't seem like I'm not sure if it's the tire wear that's bringing them down so early, or if it's more or less the fuel as well. That's going to be one thing we'll have to look at. If they can only run, 30 laps, 36 laps out there on the racetrack under the green flag conditions with fuel, then that's going to open these guys up to probably having to make at least 2 more pit stops here, where drivers may elect to take it easy here. Maybe not throw another set on here in the next pit stop and wait until the final pit stop a little bit later, even though it may be somewhere around lap number 120, somewhere in there. Then that may be their best bet. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, to say the least. It's gonna be very, very interesting. But we do see Michael Madden. He has worked his way around all these other drivers. Same with that 2 ride of Daniel Dow. So the fresher tires, they're starting to work their way up towards the front of the field here. Madden, Dow roll there in 3rd and 4th as Nick Gardner, and the 27 ride and now out in front here, and you can see how quickly these fresh tires are paying off for him as the 92 at Clinton Woodby just continuing to fall farther and farther and farther behind. It's already 4 seconds the gap here between 1st and 2nd now, and for Clinton Woodby, he's got the rest of these guys coming up in a quick hurry. Dow and Madden right there, teammates nose to tail. Well, now door to door down through 1 and 2, trying to race their way to the front of the field here. Cogdell, he's worked his way now back around the 46 of Skylar Berry. Berry will fall back into 6 as Cogdell rounds out our top 5. Caleb Kleiner back here. He is in position number 7. Rusty Modesty there in 8th. Joe Bennett back in 9th with Keith Prince there in 10th. Jesse Calloway in 11th, and Matthew Catania back in position number 12 here. Now it looks like Catania maybe in that same bit of a strategy here, maybe not taking tires again that last time around. We've seen him make some pretty bold tire moves and pit strategies out there on the speedway, and it really wouldn't surprise me if he'd elected not to take tires there during those green flag pit stops. He's sliding backwards, he's struggling, the tires are getting evil on him here. Same with Rooster Rod, and as both drivers still running in about the 3240s, 3220s out there on the racetrack, and they're running virtually, a second and a half, 2 seconds slower than our race leaders. And now the big thing that's going to be a problem for them, and even for Joshua Moore, we see him off the pace here. Jimmy Fitzmaurice, a couple of these drivers maybe on that strategy. They are looking like they're going to potentially go a lap down here in a quick hurry. Now, it's great news for Ashley Ellison Jr. getting some more drivers a lap or so down, but as of right now for this 133 ride, he is, I'm going to say, probably down across the line here. He's 2 laps down, still out on the speedway, so that's a heartbreaker there for him. And as more drivers potentially go a lap down out on the racetrack, that will put him farther and farther behind here. As you see the 40 ride here, Nathan Nixon right now about to go a lap down here as there goes that 27 machine of Nick Gardner. Gardner does go around him here, puts that 40 ride a lap down out on the speedway, and unfortunately he may not be the only one here. By the time we see another caution flag, Joshua Moore, Bruce Bernard, a lot of these other drivers aren't too far away from our race leader and could also potentially go a lap down here on the evening. But for right now, Nick Gardner, he's been doing a fantastic job here. He's been able to really manage this gap as Daniel Dow and Michael Madden really haven't gained too much time on him here. They're about 5 seconds back behind that 27 machine. They're trying to close that gap, but right now they're kind of just stalled out back here, about that 5 seconds between them and our race leader right now. Nate Cogdell about 2 seconds back behind them, rolling there in 4th. Then we see Skylar Berry, Clinton would be there in position number 6. Rusty Modesty back in 7th. Joe Bennett, Keith Prince, Jesse Callaway rounding out our top 10 out there on the racetrack. John Herbert right there just on the outside of the top 10 looking in. Same with Caleb Kleinert. And that's where we do see the number 318 even farther back here for Catania. He's right now about 21 seconds behind our race leader. That's virtually only 10 seconds in front of our race leader here. For Bruce Bernard, he's about 23 seconds back. Same with that 0-1 of Rooster Ronin. Joshua Moore even farther back here. He's about 29 seconds behind our race leader, and virtually that's only about a second and a half, 2 seconds here away from potentially going a lap down here this evening. And I know for Nick Gardner, he's going to want to try to put as many of these guys a lap down as quickly as possible, put them back here where it's going to hurt them, especially if we see a caution flag or something else here where it's really going to set those guys back, as we still got a lot of laps left to go here in this race. As 27 out in front. The gap is shrunk a little bit here, only about a quarter of a second though, so really hasn't gained too much time, or hasn't really given up too much time to Daniel Dow or Michael Madden, even though they've got 4 or 5 lap better tires than our race leader. Gardner's doing a fantastic job of just using the fresh air, using that pure speed out of this 27 ride to try to keep all these guys back there at bay. Is down across the line. They will click off lap number 90 here this evening, so 90 laps down in 60 laps left to go here in this feature event. So 60 laps of racing action still here this evening, man. We're inching closer and closer here to being, 2/3 of the way through this race. And you do see the 51 ride right there, the University of Levette going a lap down out there. That's a tough break for Joshua Moore. We'll have to see if the strategy will play out for him, if he'll be able to get back into it here later in this race with maybe some timely caution flags or some wave arounds or anything else that they may have up their sleeve here for late in this race, as Gardner continues to hold that gap between himself and Dow and Michael Madden. We'll have to keep a close eye on these other drivers that may potentially go a lap down, like Rooster Rodden. Rodden, he's still quite a bit of ways in front of our race leader, but it's not too far away. Same with Bruce Bernard and that 318 ride of Matthew Catania. And unfortunately for these drivers, their tires and everything else are just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. Their cars are going to get harder and harder and harder to try to handle, as we do see Joshua Moore, even though he just went a lap down, here he is heading down pit side here, making another pit stop. So Joshua Moore down pit road. He's going to look to try to get some fuel, maybe some tires, and this may bring on an onslaught of more drivers to head down pit road here, as you do see him get jacked up there on the right hand side. Looks like they're going to fill this truck full of fuel, and looks like they're going to throw a fresh set of tires onto this thing as well. And no, this is awful timing for him as the caution flag flies. The yellow flag is in the air here, as, oh man, looks like Bruce Bernard going to go around here. He's trying to battle with Matthew Catania as the 17, the Sharpie ride here. Down to the inside, he's trying to make the move around Matthew here. This is for position. After on the speedway, unfortunately, just gets in there, and it looks like he just gets on the throttle here, gets a little tighter. Actually, I don't know what happens right there. Oh, my. Okay. Well, he was blinking at the same time right there, so this is going to be a tough one to really navigate or see. But potentially contact here between him and Catania. As 17 down low, the 318 up on the high side. The 318 is definitely coming down. The 17 doesn't really come up until obviously there's contact. Yeah, he's blinking right here. Now, virtually you can't see him, but This is a tough one right here, as it looks like Catania just comes down off the corner here. Obviously, older tires dealing with issues in the car, just pulls to the left and makes contact there. I think he was going to make contact, whether or not that the 17 right started blinking right there or not. And obviously, at that contact that he does get into the 17, and blinking doesn't help, but obviously spins him around up into the outside fence as that 318 machine gets some pretty heavy damage there himself, and some pretty good damage there for the 17 ride. Definitely not the way that they wanted that to go, as now more drivers will be looking to try to get some wave arounds or lucky dogs, or trying to get anything they can to try to help their case out here this evening, trying to get them back into the action. As you do see Joshua Moore, he's looking for the wave around, obviously just came down pit road. Ashley Ellison Jr. and Nathan Nixon here. Nixon actually did come down pit road, but he's still up there, and he's still right in this area to try to get the wave around or lucky dog here this evening. And for Joshua Moore, might have been in the best position, actually, still down pit road. I'm not sure, maybe he's in the lucky dog spot here or not. We'll have to wait and see, as Bruce Bernard, and this tough break for him. He is down a lap now as well, or close to it. We'll have to wait and see kind of how iRacing scores this 17 ride, and how they're going to score either the wave arounds or the free passes here, and how that's going to play out for them, as everyone else did come down pit side. Now, I don't think a lot of these drivers probably elected to get tires here. That's going to be the big thing for a lot of these drivers, is that tires probably aren't going to be a major thing here down pit road, as they don't want to burn up their final set, and it's exactly what it looks like here. So they do come down pit road, and it looks like they're all just going to get a splash of gas here. They're all going to get some fuel into their trucks. Doesn't look like any of these guys getting jacked up or tires being put on, or at least for a lot of them, it doesn't look that way. Maybe some of them getting tires here, maybe left side tires only. It'll be interesting to see kind of how this all works out in the end. But for right now, yeah, obviously some mixed up strategy. A lot of drivers getting tires or not getting tires. A lot of drivers getting, good breaks, bad breaks out there. I think for a few of these guys like Matthew Catania and Rooster Rodden and some of these other guys that clearly hadn't used a fresh set of tires up as of yet, are going to have those in their back pocket here, and they're going to be able to try to race their way up and through all these other drivers that are now on what will be virtually older tires here this evening. For Mark Beverly, Jamie Fitzmaurice, they're rolling there in 15th and 16th. Bruce Bernard, he's back in the 17th position, as Joshua Moore, Ashley Ellison Jr., Nathan Nixon, all still a lap down or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack. Definitely not the spot that they wanted to be in here today. Is Nick Gardner, though, he does lead this race. Gardner out in front. I'll have to wait and see how drivers navigate their way up and through the field and try to make their way up here to this 27 ride. As you see Michael Mann and Daniel Dow there once again right there, nose to tail on the racetrack, trying to hunt down this 27 ride. As here comes the 92, Clinton Woodby. Looks like Woodby, he may have thrown on his fresh set of tires here, as here comes that 92 ride, serving his way right up back to the front of the pack here, as he'll be looking to make his way around this number 27 ride of Nick Gardner. You do see the 00 ride, Nate Cogdell there. He's down low. He's working his way around the Sparkle and Shine rides. They're going to battle back down to his inside, as it's going to be a tight fight here, I think, all the way to the end. It'll be interesting to see who's going to be able to make some moves and try to race their way up here to the front of the field. Obviously, fuel may be an issue. Extra tires may be a problem out there, as a lot of drivers potentially using up their tires early here in this race, and not having them late in the race could affect your finishing position. But if you can use them to your advantage, maybe pull far enough out in front, maybe not having those newer tires later in the race will make a huge difference here this evening. So we'll have to wait and see how this all kind of plays out for all these drivers. Obviously, a lot of different strategies out there on the speedway, as right now Clinton Woodby, fastest car out there on the racetrack. He's got the clean air here on him as well, and he is just pulling farther and farther away from the rest of the pack. As now we do see Nate Cogdell. Cogdell jumps up in there, as now we do see some more contact. Look out as the 01 of Rooster Rodden goes around. Rodden around, heavy contact there for the 318 of Matthew Catania, and the caution flag will come back out. So the caution flag is back out here on the racetrack, as yeah, there's definitely some pretty solid contact here between the 01 and the 6 ride, the Sinclair Dyno Care machine, as it's like the Sinclair ride just loose down low right here. I'm not sure what was going on with Rusty Modesty here, but Rusty just down low. I'm not sure if it's just dirty air on the 6th ride, but he sends it down through the tri-oval here, and all of a sudden you see this car just get tight right there. It washes up the track, and all of a sudden just bounces in off the 51 ride. Is Joshua Moore going to get a little contact? But obviously on the worst end of this deal is going to be that 0-1 machine, as he ends up with some decent damage there, not a whole lot, but then it's going to be the contact afterwards. That truck has all that speed momentum, washes up the racetrack here, and actually looks like Caleb Kleiner going to get a piece of him right there as well. Some pretty good damage there to Kleiner, and then Nathan Nixon and the 318 machine both going to get some pretty serious damage into this ride as they just send it in here, and obviously not expecting them to wash up the racetrack right there into their laps, and all of a sudden they're just going to drive right in here, and oh man, heavy hit there for Nixon as well. I don't think Nixon really knew what was happening here, and Nixon sends it in there, and he's just going to drive right into the back end of the 318 ride, which is going to shove him in there even farther and harder into the 0-1 machine. I think he was going to make contact with him regardless, but definitely doesn't help there as he got driven in there even farther and harder, and obviously some pretty solid damage and contact there for both the 40, the 0-1, and that 318 machine. Caleb Kleiner getting a little damage there, Rusty Modesty, Joshua Moore all getting some contact and damage as well, so that really mixes things up here right around our two-thirds of the way through this race. You see this ride, he's trying to get checked up, and he gets sent in there a whole lot harder and a whole lot quicker, and makes that contact and damage that much worse. And now here he is down pit side trying to get this truck repaired, hoping to get back out there and back into the action here this evening as Clinton Woodby holds on to the race lead here. Nate Cogdell, Nick Gardner, Daniel Dow, Jesse Calloway, Michael Madden, Joe Bennett, Keith Prince, and Skylar Barry. Caleb Kleiner there running at our top 10. Kleiner is the first driver that just came back down pit road there on lap 101. Then Modesty there in 11th. Herbert, Rooster Rod in there in the 0-1. Mark Beverly, Matthew Catania. Looks like Catania may have taken his car actually off of the racing surface here. He's not out there on the racetrack now for me, so he may be done for the day here for that number 318 machine. We'll have to wait and see if all of a sudden he appears back on the racetrack, but it does look like he is done and out of this race. So a heartbreaker there for Catania, but a good break for his teammate as that caution flag that Catania was tied up into gives the wave around the lucky dog here to Ashley Ellison Jr. So a great break there for Ashley as he'll be back on the lead lap, back into the action here this evening. Bruce Bernard, I do believe, is still scored as a lap down here. Same with Joshua Moore. They'll be looking for another caution flag, trying to get back on the lead lap. Nixon is a few laps down there, a couple laps down, back in position number 19. Jimmy Fitzmaurice also a couple laps down there in the 33. And for Matthew Catania, I do believe still, looks like Catania is stuck in that car actually off of the racetrack. He is back down behind pit wall and out of this race here this evening. A heartbreaker there for the 318, the NOS Energy ride, as he was looking to have a solid run and a good day here this evening. Obviously, that plan going astray there late in this race, having a couple issues and having some pretty severe contact and damage onto that 318 ride. Probably too much damage to get fixed up, and trying to rejoin this race obviously was not going to be possible, so he takes it back down behind pit wall. As here we go, back to green flag racing as just over 100 laps into this race. We just got under 50 laps left to go as down across the line they'll complete lap 103, and it's actually 47 laps of racing action left to go here from Chicagoland Speedway. As we are back to green flag racing, we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what we want you to do right now is crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming, live from Chicagoland Speedway. look out, upside down goes the two-ride of Daniel Dow. Dow upside down, heavy damage here for the Anything EC Sparkle and Shine ride as he'll take his truck right down pit road as the caution flag is back out here as the crank it up caution flag will commence here this evening as there's contact here between him and the 0-1 ride, and we saw it live there, the contact here between him and Rooster Rodden. Rodden obviously getting in here a little too deep, a little too far. He's got some fresher tires. He's making some big moves here. And all of a sudden, he just gets into the number 2 ride. It looks like he gets to the inside here potentially. You know, look at another angle at this one as, yeah, right here. The 2 up against the fence. The 0-1 cuts down underneath of him here. Now, he gets a good run, but he just drives it into the 2 rides. Left quarter panel here, it spins him down the racetrack. Nowhere to go for Keith Prince. He gets some damage out of that as well. The 0-2, or the 2 ride of Daniel Dow now sliding down through the grass here. Unfortunately, all that speed momentum that they had built up and exiting the corner with here. He's trying to get this thing checked up. He's got the brakes locked up here, not wanting to slide back up in front of people. Unfortunately, he just cannot control the slide, and all of a sudden you see that 133. Ashley Ellison does get in there, gets a big piece of that one, and the 13 of Mark Beverly, man. Big hit there for Mark Beverly, man. This is a big hit here for the this number 13 machine. Let's see if we get another look at it here, another angle at this for Mark Beverly as he's going to see this 2 ride start to slide up. He tries to cut up and then cut down, and all of a sudden he ends up just driving right into the side of him there, and then as everyone else trying to avoid him there, a couple more drivers end up getting collected here. Man, that's a big hit right there. Look at that car flying through the air, and then obviously the 6 trying to avoid the 13 ride comes down, gets a piece of the 17 machine, and then the 13 and the 17 make contact there, and obviously a little bit more damage and carnage for those drivers. Let's see if we can get another look at it here. Obviously heavy smoke rolling out of that 13 ride, heavy hit there, and obviously a lot of damage for him and a lot of damage for Daniel Dow and a lot of these other drivers, man. It's definitely a tough spot to be in as Dow just really not a whole lot that he could do right there. He's just trying to hang on to it, trying to hold on to this position. The 0-1 just gets in there, gets into him, and then hooks him around right there. And tough break for a lot of these other drivers. Ashley Ellison getting heavy damage into that. The 13, the 17. A lot of tore-up race cars out there on the speedway. Keith Prince getting pretty good damage. That's going to really mix things up here this evening. That's for certain. That's really going to kind of change the tide of this race and how the strategy may be played out and how drivers are going to have to try to tackle the rest of this feature event. Obviously, with that extra caution, brings in the opportunity for drivers to get extra fuel. Maybe they can make it to the end now on fuel. Maybe they don't need tires anymore. If someone's got extra tires back there behind pit wall right now, maybe now's the time to use them. Maybe you throw them on now. It goes clean and green to the end, and you got the best tires out there. You could run away with this race win, or other side of it, maybe you wait. Maybe you still have to wait another 10, 20, 30 laps before you elect to try to use that extra set of fresh tires. So that way you have some of the freshest tires there later in this race, and if we do see a late race caution flag, it may be the best time to put those tires on. And the way this is heading, it may be a little bit more caution filled here over the next 40 laps of this race, as we got about I guess 39 now, about to be 38 laps left to go here in this feature event, as we still got a little time here. Lights are still on the official iRacing pace car as drivers trying to get their cars figured out, trying to get them fixed up here. You do see some pretty heavy damage still on this number 133 ride. Obviously left front, right front, pretty heavy damage on it there. Bruce Bernard, he's got a little damage. Nathan Nixon, looks like that truck is fixed up a little bit now. Jimmy Fitzmaurice, his truck's fixed up a little bit more. Same with Daniel Dow, as he's used his quick repair here this evening to get that truck fixed up and rolling here again. As Caleb Kleinert going to come back down pit road. Same with Rusty Modesty here. Joshua Moore also down pit side again. And here comes Keith Prince. Prince looking to get some more repairs, making sure his truck is A-OK and ready to roll for out the rest of this race. As obviously now different pit strategies here. Maybe a couple of drivers wanting to make sure they get this extra fuel into their tanks here, knowing that potentially this race could go to the finish here, and maybe that extra little bit of fuel, that one extra lap, may be enough to give them that extra comfort out there to potentially make it to the end of this race without having to make another green flag pit stop. So we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out here as Clinton Woodby has the race lead. He'll get ready to set us back loose here this evening. We'll get ready to see that green flag fly once again and set these drivers back loose here at Chicagoland Speedway. What do you guys think's got it, man? There's so much strategy, so much different game plan, and everything else that goes on to these races. And for one of these drivers, their game plan is going to work out better than everybody else, and they will end up in victory lane. Who do you think that driver will be? Who do you think will get the win here today as we'll get ready to set them back loose, and we'll get ready to jump back into our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up here this evening, as we will crank it up here once again here with the Metalhead Truck Series. Alrighty, give it up for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session here from Chicagoland Speedway. As out in front, it's Daniel Dow, but we do see one of our other race leaders down pit side. That 92 ride of Clinton Woodby. Now, I'm not sure if Woodby had fresh set of tires down there or not. Doesn't look like it. So coming down for a splash of gas here for that 92 ride. So obviously giving up a ton of track position, older tires. Now down pit road here and getting that fuel and everything else. Now trying to roll back in onto the racetrack. He scored now in that 12th position. Looks like Joshua Moore also down pit side. He'll be making his green flag pit stop here. Potentially his final pit stop of the day as the 51 heads down into his box trying to get this truck fixed up. Doesn't look like, oh, he's getting jacked up there. So maybe tires getting put on to this 51 machine. Now I'm not sure how that's going to help him or if it's going to affect him here this evening. Obviously he's going to need things to cycle through, have everyone else come down pit side as well, and now you'll look to use these fresh tires to his advantage. Now here comes Nate Cogdell, the 46 of Skylar Berry. There's that 05 ride of Joe Bennett also down pit side as the 00 Bennett machine makes his way down to his pit stall here on the racetrack. Out in front though, leading this race now, it is Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert and this number 2 ride of Daniel Dow. They're battling out door to door here for this race lead as Caleb Kleinert looking to try to take it away from Daniel Dow. Dow trying to hang on to it here, but it is a tight fight here at the front of the field. Now both these drivers were down pit road on lap 110 in lap 112, and there's contact. Around goes the 196 of Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert goes for a couple loop-de-loops right there. Luckily enough, still has decent tires there. Obviously didn't wear them out too much with that spin, but it will hold on to some track position right there. But contact down at a core number 2. Obviously some tight racing here between these two. Let's take another look at it and the contact here between Daniel Dow and and Caleb Kleinert here as Kleinert kind of watches up the track. The two tries to cut down underneath of him, and it looks like maybe a bit of a block there rid of the 196. Obviously he knew that the 2 ride was coming with a good head of steam right here, rolling the outside lane. He's tight washed up the racetrack. The 2 cuts down low, trying to avoid him, trying to cross underneath of him right here, and this looks like Caleb continues to try to turn left right there and trying to stay in front of that 2 right now. That's exactly what you probably should do. Maybe not this early in the run with still a lot of laps left. This is the final lap or 2. Yeah, I'd say throw that block, but it's a tough one right there. You know, it's a tough situation. Obviously, you know, getting tight, plowing up the racetrack, trying to stay out of the wall himself here. And obviously, Daniel trying to make the move down low, trying to get around this number 196 machine. Definitely a tough situation, tough spot for both of these drivers. And I'm sure the admin crew will have to take a couple looks at that and try to decipher how this caution flag came out as obviously the 2 gets into the 196. Now he can get onto the binders or anything else, and obviously he's expecting that 196 to stay up and towards the fence there and not come down any farther. And obviously contact's made, and Caleb Kleinert goes for that bit of a loop-de-loop right there. That truck did try to get up and into the air. Luckily enough, it stings on all 4 tires and doesn't go flying or upside down right there as he goes down through the grass for a quick little 360. Gets it pointed back in the right direction. Keeps on rolling here, and luckily enough able to keep himself in this battle. But it's going to mix things up here. Obviously, we saw drivers down pit road making green flag pit stops here. We'll have to wait and see how this kind of lines everybody up, as it does show that potentially now Rooster Rodden with the race lead. Mark Beverly back in position number 2. Daniel down there in 3rd. Keith Prince there in 4th. Caleb Kleinert will be scored back in the 5th position with Clinton Woodby there in position number 6. Looks like Woodby got the lucky dog here and got himself back on the lead lap. Now for Michael Madden, Jesse Calloway, Nick Gardner, all these drivers were a lap down after making green flag pit stops. Same with Nate Cogdell, Joshua Moore, Joe Bennett, Bruce Bernard. They're all going to be looking to try to get some wave arounds here, trying to get themselves back on the lead lap. So as the lights turn off the official iRacing pace truck, they will get the wave here around the pace truck, and they'll have to build up all that speed and momentum and try to hunt down the back of the pack here and try to get ready to rumble here from a little deeper in the field and see if they can navigate their way to the front. Obviously wanted that pit strategy to work out in their favor. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out for them here this evening. For some drivers, Obviously, getting that lap back, being back on the lead lap is going to be a great break for them, like Michael Madden, Jesse Calloway, Nick Gardner in the 27 ride. Unfortunately for Nate Cogdell, he's still back here. He's behind our race leaders here. He will be back a lap down here, and unfortunately scored right now in the 10th position, 1 lap down. Same with Joshua Moore. Joe Bennett, a lap down. Bruce Bernard, a lap down. John Herbert, Rusty Modesty, Skylar Berry, Nathan Nixon, Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr., all a lap or multiple laps down. Ashley Ellison Jr. still down pit side, has been down pit road since, I believe, lap 118 for Matthew Catania. Catania down and out of this race as well. So out in front is Rooster Rodden, though. Rooster getting ready for this, what could be our final restart of the day. It may still be a few more caution flags to come. Obviously, some fresher tires, some older tires, and drivers obviously late in the race getting kind of built up. Seeing this action, obviously frustrations and everything else starting to boil over, and we're going to add an extra lap right here, so another lap here for this caution flag, so that will mix things up a little bit more here this evening to see kind of how this is going to play out for everybody, how this is going to work out, and who's going to be able to try to navigate their way up to the front of the field. Now we do see the 15 ride of Michael Madden here. Madden scored back in that 6th position, but unfortunately for the wave-around cars like Madden, Callaway, Nick Gardner here, and for Clinton Woodby, who got the lucky dog, they unfortunately have to start back here behind all of the lap-down cars and all the lead lap cars. So there's a pretty sizable gap here and a lot of traffic in between our 5th-place competitor, Caleb Kleinert, and our 6th-place driver, Michael Madden. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, potentially 8 cars here in between that 15 ride and our 5th place driver here. So there's a lot of cars in between them here getting ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll have to wait and see how it all kind of gets set up and gets rolling here this evening. Obviously for Michael Madden, he wants this 6th ride to kind of get a little tighter there to the back of the pack. Is out in front, Rooster Rodin getting ready to see that green flag fly here once again, as we'll have to wait and see kind of how the back of the pack kind of gets launched off here as they're all kind of a little bit more broken up, and it looks like we're going to get another lap of caution here. I don't know why we're getting so many extra laps here of yellow flags. I'm not sure what the carnage is out there on the racetrack or why we're getting extended yellow, but nonetheless, it does look like this time the lights are off the official pace truck and should get going here again the next lap around. So we'll have to wait and see here as obviously everyone trying to figure out what they need to do, where they need to be, everyone trying to get into line, and we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing here this next time by the start finish line for what will be about a 12-lap shootout to the end. So potentially older tires here at the front of the field, potentially newer tires here a little deeper in the pack, but they've got a lot of traffic to try to get through and obviously a lot of ground to make up to catch up to our race leaders. Does Michael Madden, Jesse Calloway, Nick Gardner, Clinton Woodby, do they have enough time to navigate their way up here and into this fight at the front of the pack? We'll have to wait and see how this all plays out as down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. Lights are still off the official iRacing paint truck, so he will head back down pit lane and we will get ready here for what could be our final restart of the day as Rooster Rodden will see that green flag fly. He's able to get onto the loud pedal quickly here. Gets a great launch and a good jump there. It'll bring the 2 right of Daniel Dow right there with him. Dow up and into position number 2 as the outside lane just did not fire off there. Very good for Mark Beverly in the 3 ride. That is definitely not how they wanted this to start. Now you see all these other drivers trying to navigate their way through here. Everyone trying to pick and choose a lane out there on the speedway as here comes Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert down to the inside once again of that 2 right of Daniel Dow. Dow trying to work to the outside now. That's 0-1 as he gets a little bit loose right there. Watches up the racetrack now. They're 3 wide here at the front of the field. 3 wide is the 196. He goes down onto the apron there, using that apron to his advantage as he goes door to door with Rooster Rodden looking to try to take this race lead away. Here comes some fresher tires though, a little deeper in the pack. Now some of these drivers are a lap down and there's going to be some contact. Look out. There goes Rooster. There goes Dow. Skylar Berry collected and the caution flag is back out in the air. Caution flag is back out here in this one. Caleb Kleiner, luckily enough, able to stay out in front of that one. I don't think he got any damage in it, so a good break there for our race leader as Yeah, we kind of saw that one coming. Obviously, some fresh tires, older tires, everything else out there on the speedway, and these drivers were not backing down. They were not slowing down here, and I do believe it gets started with the 46 ride here with Skylar Berry, who's a lap or a couple laps down out there on the racetrack, and Skylar's going to send it in here pretty deep, and I think Mark Beverly down low. He's kind of stuck in. Oh, yeah, it starts right there. Beverly gets loose. Coming out of corner number 2 right there. My apologies there to Skylar Berry. He did not get that one started. This party got started by the 13 ride as the Asheville Outlaws. Number 13 of Mark Beverly here. Mark just rolling down low. This thing just gets loose right here on corner exit as he steps back onto the throttle. This thing just going to snap loose on him. You see it kind of hooking to the left. He tries to correct it. It just overcorrects and snaps up into the outside fence. Obviously, Skylar Berry gets a good piece of him there, then into the fence as the 13 hooks Dow. Dow ends up hooking the 0-1 ride there of Rooster Rod, and unfortunately, Rooster goes for a couple loop-de-loops. Dow goes around. They both slide up and into the outside fence here as well, and then you see the 46. Unfortunately, really nowhere to go there for Skylar Berry. Ends up driving straight into the back of the 2 ride, causing more front-end damage for himself, more damage for the 2 ride there, and obviously quite a bit of carnage, quite a few tore-up race cars there, and that will put us back under the caution flag here this evening, and that will bring some of those other lap-down cars, or cars that were on the lead lap, but at the back of the pack there, right back into the mix here, as that should move Michael Madden and the 4 ride of Jesse Calloway, Clinton Woodby, and a few of these other drivers around some of the lap down traffic and right back up into the mix of things here this evening. Now, you see Caleb Kleinert out in front, still has the race lead. The 0-0 ride here, that is Nate Cogdell. I do believe Cogdell's hoping to get the lucky dog, the wave around, trying to get himself back onto the lead lap here this evening. We'll have to wait and see if he does get that wave around or not, as Gil Kleinert out in front, Rooster Rod, and he's seen there in second, even with that little bit of damage or tire wear that he just got. Same with the 2 ride of Daniel Dow, so they'll roll in second and third. They're electing not to come down pit side. Keith Prince there in 4th, and now here you go. Michael Madden into 5th. Jesse Calloway there in 6th. Clinton Woodby back in 7th, and Nick Gardner there in position number 8. Joshua Moore in the 51 right now. He did get the wave around right there, or potentially the lucky dog, so he will join us at the back of the pack here. Mark Beverly back out there as well in the 13 ride as he'll roll in 9th. Joshua Moore there in 10th, and obviously Nate Cogdell still hoping to get the lucky dog, hoping to get that free pass here, trying to get this beautiful Revco electrical paper cuts 0-0 ride, the big red custom die-cast machine back onto the lead lap here this evening. Is always looking good there in those Sonographic Designs rides for the 0-0 of Nate Cogdell, and he's hoping that if he can get the wave around or a lucky dog or something to help him out here late in this race to get back into the action, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to battle here in just a couple more moments. As Kleiner, though, out in front, has this race lead. He's going to be feeling a little bit nervous here. Obviously, he doesn't know what driver's going to have back there behind him, whether or not someone's got that extra little bit speed, a little bit better tire, who's got something left in the tank here to maybe try to jump up and steal this win away from him here late in this race. Hello, Mother, as my mother coming in showing the love over there on Facebook. Says, hello, my handsome boy. Hello, Mama. How are you? How are you, Mama? Coming in showing the love here in this one as, here we go. We'll get them ready to rumble. We'll get ready to go back to battle here in this one, but looks like the lights are going to stay on for at least another lap. We did see Nate Cogdell, though. He did get that lucky dog to wave around back onto the lead lap here for the 0-0. So a great break there for Cogdell, obviously getting back into this battle. And you see that 0-5 of Joe Bennett. He's right there. He's on the lead lap as well in that 0-5 ride. So we're now at 12 drivers on the lead lap for John Herbert. He is still a lap down back there in 13th. Bruce Bernard a lap down there in 14th. Rusty Modesty down pit side here now. Unfortunately for Rusty, he's down on pit road right here, and he's already a lap down. May go another lap down here in a quick hurry. Couple laps down there for Nathan Nixon and Jimmy Fitzmaurice. Skylar Berry a couple laps down. Ashley Elson Jr. a lot of laps down. Obviously Matthew Catania done and out of this race. It looks like Ashley potentially out of this race as well, as the drivers, they're ready to go. They're ready to go to battle here as down across the line. The lights are still on the official iRacing pace truck, so we will not go back to green flag racing this time around. We'll have to wait at least another lap here. So looks like this time by, hopefully we'll see the caution lights turn off and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing as next time around. Right there, we completed lap 144. So the next time when we go back to green flag racing will be lap 145, meaning that we'll have a 5-lap shootout here to the end. 5 laps here. Figure out who will put themselves up and into victory lane here this evening from Chicagoland Speedway. Who will get it done? Who will pick up this win here this evening? And yeah, it's going to be a tight one. It's going to be interesting. Who's got fresh tires? Who doesn't have fresh tires? Who's played the strategy right here this evening? Who's got the extra little bit in the back of their pocket? Does Caleb Kleinert have enough to hold them all off? Or does Rooster Rodden, Keith Prince, Daniel Dow, Michael Madden, Callaway, Clinton Woodby, Nick Gardner, any of these drivers that are still in the lead lap, can they make their way back up here and fight and battle and put themselves potentially into victory lane here this evening? We're about to find out, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, man. Hit that like button on the stream right now. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that share button. Hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family. Turn those notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming. As there goes the official iRacing pace truck down pit side, and that will unleash this field to the 196 as Caleb Kleiner gets a great restart right there. Quickly onto the loud pedal. That was the start that he was looking for as he's able to clear these guys by a couple car lengths down into corner number 1. Hoping to use that to keep himself out in front as here comes Michael Madden. Madden now around the 2 right. Daniel Dow obviously has damage on that 2 machine. He's kind of stuck back here right now, and obviously with that damage, he's slowing down, but here comes Michael Madden. Madden down low here. He's going to slide right on by the 3 and the 0-1. And Madden now up and into position number 2. So Madden into second. Here he comes to the back bumper of our race leaders down across the line. Only 4 more laps left to go. 4 more laps left here in this one as a little bit of a late cut down to the bottom side of the racetrack here as Caleb Kleiner trying to block and try to hold off this 15 ride as now they're door to door down and out of corner number 2. Down the back straightaway, here they come battling down into corner number 3 here. Caleb Kleiner unfortunately going to slide back into second now on the racetrack as Michael Madden jumps up and takes that late race lead away from the 196. Here comes Clinton Woodby. Woodby trying to jump up here. He'd love to get around this 196 ride as well, and it looks like he'll take a peek down to the inside here as they're 2, 3, 4 wide back here deeper in the field. Everyone trying to navigate their way back up to the front of the pack, but running away with it is this number 15 machine of Michael Madden. Madden out in front. He just wants to see it stay clean and green. Does not want to see a caution flag out there on the speedway as they're still battling 2, 3 wide back here. Look out, Nick Gardner almost getting shoved down into the grass as 2 laps left to go here from Chicagoland Speedway. Still some great racing. It's a hornet's nest back here, and look out as Caleb Kleiner gets loose down through corner 1 and 2. That opens up the door down low for Jesse Callaway. Callaway looking to jump up into second as Michael Madden out in front and running away with it. He just wants to see this white flag fly is down and out of corner number 4, back down across the line. We will see the white flag be displayed. So the next flag will end this race no matter what as Callaway up into second. There's the 27 to Gardner now into third. Joshua Moore into 4th as here comes that 0-5 of Joe Bennett. Bennett now up and into 5th here. Great run for Bennett as you do see the 27 unfortunately washed down to the bottom side of the racetrack. That opens up the door for Moore to jump up into 3rd here. They'll battle back down to the line, but through corner 3 and out of 4 for the final time here today. It's Michael Madden who will pick up the checkered flag here this evening. Madden gets it done and puts himself up and into the winner's circle here once again this season. As I do believe this is either I think this is the 3rd win now on the season here for Michael Madden as he's able to get it done here at Chicagoland Speedway. It was Jesse Callaway who comes home in second, and Joshua Moore there in position number 3. As Nick Gardner, Joe Bennett, our top 5 on the racetrack, Caleb Kleinert, Nate Cogdell, Clinton Woodby, Keith Prince, and Rooster Rodden rounding out our top 10 here today. As Rodney Stewart, what's good, Rodney? Rodney says, just about missed this. Good evening and get some rest, Peacemaker. How are you, mister? How you doing? How are you, Rodney? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day, my boy. As out in front and now celebrating his victory, it is the 15 rider Michael Madden as Madden captures the dub here this evening in the Metalheads Truck Series. As Madden gets to celebrate, he gets the party hardy here in Chicago here tonight, as we were in Chicago last night for the road course. Here tonight we're out here on the oval at Chicagoland Speedway. And man, oh man, what a run, what a race there for Michael Madden, playing his cards perfectly, holding him close to his chest there late in the race and able to use him to his potential there and putting himself up into victory lane. As Dower Operator, how are you, Bruce? Bruce coming in, show the love, says good race. Number 51, P3. Heck of a run right there for Mr. Mornay. Another trip up onto the podium there for the Muehlberger Custom Homes, number 51 machine. As out front, though, the Sparkle and Shine Anything EC, number 15 of Michael Madden, gets to celebrate tonight's victory, and we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. Post-race interviews coming up next here. We'll get ready to pull these guys up and into the booth here this evening for their absolutely amazing runs and performances here today. Fire Chief says, hi, hello, how are you, Fire Chief? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Monday. As Rodney says, some great races the last couple of days, man. Yeah, the last few days, man, it's been some good racing. Some good, hard racing. That's what we always like to see. And we're going to see more of that tomorrow night, as we will be back in action with a lot of these same drivers in the HCK Beagles Truck Series as their playoffs continue. We'll see them back out on the racetrack tomorrow night and duking it out there, and that'll be a lot of fun seeing those guys back out there on the racetrack. Now we do need to wait for our top 3 to jump up here into the waiting room. Maybe we can slide 1 or 2 of them up here. I'm not too sure, as normally they're pretty good at jumping in there pretty quickly, but so far we haven't really had any of them jump up there into the waiting room. But let's see if we can pull Michael up right now, our race winner. Hey Michael, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
I got you, man.
Michael, man, what a run, what a race. Take us back through this one, man. Obviously, a whole lot going on there. Obviously, a lot of different pitch strategy, a lot of different tire strategy with fuel and tires and everything else here this evening at Chicagoland Speedway. And then, obviously, those late race caution flags kind of throwing a big wrench into a lot of different game plans. You know, even trapping you a lap down and some of these other drivers. Luckily enough, you get the wave around, you get back on the lead lap there, and then you just kind of play it nicely there. Obviously, you could have used your fresher tires to move through the field in a quick hurry, but you kind of sat back figuring that something might happen up in front of all that lap traffic and the race leaders that were on older tires, and that's exactly what happens. Something happens, another wreck, you're able to leapfrog all those cars, and then you get to restart this final restart here in that 5th position, and it did not take you long to jump out in front, steal this lead away from Caleb Kleinert, and park yourself back up and into victory lane here this year with the Metalheads Truck Series, man. Take us back through this race and kind of what's going through your mind right now after all the smoke settles in. You're done partying there on the front straightaway.
Yeah, man, it was back and forth. I thought I was in the catbird seat. Me and Dow were working together all night. I thought I was in the catbird seat multiple times. It felt like we were on the right strategy, and then, you know, just that last caution, that lap 100, it was like a crossroad of what to do. And, you know, you either pit, take tires, and then hope it goes green to the end, and then you take the fuel. I kind of stayed out, and then right when I was pitting, of course, the caution comes out, and, you know, you just kind of sit and duck at that point because you want to take your tires, and it's kind of a crapshoot. Like the 01 got around into the lead, and that was kind of my hope, but it didn't work out that way where I went to the back. And I guess it was kind of a blessing. I couldn't really get through the field as quick as I wanted to because they were side by side in front of me, and I kind of had to back it up and check up. And luckily, man, they wrecked off the back, and that was like the I just saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and I was like, all right, well, now we're going to restart, get the lap guys out of my way, and then we'll really be in contention here. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, I found a gap, thankfully, you know, working with Dow all night. I probably couldn't win without Dow. If he took me, you know, took the bottom in 1 and 2 on that final restart, I probably would have been stuck behind some other guys and given them opportunity to get around me. So it kind of really worked out to my advantage, and I was able to, beat the 196 and then really kind of just left them in the dust there at the end. So got the right strategy, man. Got lucky, and man, been a tough week. So it's nice to see something finally go my way.
Absolutely, brother. Definitely good to hear that something going right your way here this week as you're able to park that 15 ride back up into victory lane, able to make those right calls at the right time, and then obviously getting the good bad breaks, but also the good breaks here tonight. I feel like there's a lot of drivers that are probably feeling that way. Obviously, some of them on the opposite side of the good end of some of those late race caution flags. And for yourself, they kind of hurt you, but then it helped you there a little bit. And here you are, able to park yourself back up into victory lane for, I do believe, the third time here this season.
Yeah, man. With these tire shortages, you really never know which way it's going to fall, and sometimes you hit it right, sometimes you don't hit it right. Like last week, didn't hit it right. So it was nice to know that I got lucky for once. I felt like we had a good truck all night. Anyways, it's just keeping yourself in the mix is really all you can do. You can't lead every lap when you have different strategies, different guys on different tires. So you just got to kind of run your own race, and hopefully it works out. And luckily tonight it did, man.
Absolutely. It works out perfectly for you as you're able to park yourself up here into the Chicagoland Speedway victory lane. Michael, who would you like to thank for a great run and great drive here this evening?
Man, how about we bring this track back, man? This track is awesome. I miss this track. It's one of my favorites on the service. I know that's a side note what you asked me, but I hope they bring it back in real life, man, because this place is fun as it can be, especially in this truck, man. It's drafting, it's slide jobs, tires wear. It's really all you can ask for in this kind of style of racing. I always want to thank my rep teammates, man. Thanks for Dow. Unfortunately, Nixon had some tough luck tonight. Want to thank Sparkle Shine, Anything EC, Sean, all those guys, everything they do for me, Rev Racing. And I want to thank my wife. We've had a tough week here together, and appreciate her for letting me do this. And it's nice to get a win in the bank and stack a penny and stack a quarter here for the playoffs. So we get those points, man. We need those points, and keep on trucking and get ready for the playoffs coming up, buddy.
Absolutely. Well, we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Monday and potentially even tomorrow night if you're back in there with the HCK Beagles Truck Series. But nonetheless, man, it's going to be a lot of fun to see you guys back out there battling and seeing if you can stack some more pennies here before the playoffs start here in the Metalheads Truck Series.
I appreciate it, pal. Have a good night.
Absolutely. You as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Michael Madden. As Michael's father, I do believe, in the chat says, congratulations, Michael, cheering on Mr. Madden here this evening as Michael gets it done, puts himself up and into victory lane here this evening. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher here, it's Jesse Galloway. Jesse coming home here in position number 2. Now, normally Jesse's got his mom, I do believe, in the chat watching, but I don't know if she was watching here tonight or not, but nonetheless, Jesse with a great second place run. You'll have to go back and show her this one. Hey Jesse, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Jesse, man, solid run, solid drive here for you. Obviously, that strategy late in the race kind of hurt you there with that first caution flag around lap 130, but then that next one really helped you, Matt, and a lot of these other guys out to be able to get up and through some of that, lap traffic there and be back up on the back bumper of some of these drivers with the older tires, and you're able to work your way through them, and as you do, you find yourself jumping up into position number 2 here this evening, man. Take us back kind of through this race and what's kind of going through your mind here after a very back and forth day and obviously a lot of different strategy being played out here at Chicagoland.
Yeah, it was a crazy race. I was trying to play it conservative in the beginning, and it happened to work out there at the end. I mean, it's been a long time since tire strategies worked out for me, so it feels pretty good. I didn't know who else was kind of on my strategy, but had a pretty good track position there at the end, enough to get it done for a top 3, or top second place. Feels pretty good finally being back up here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a while. It's been some tough races for you, and obviously we've seen you have some good runs and not work out in your favor here. So it's gonna feel, even though you came home a second, almost like a win here, being able to get back up into another podium finish here and being back up on the front straightaway after one of these races.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, second place right now feels like a win for sure. Kind of part-time in the league, so I've missed quite a few races to start off the season, and some more here and there. Just everything going on. But yeah, the position I'm in, I'll take what I can get. I'm in it to win it, so hopefully I can get a win. But the second place is just as good right now.
Absolutely, and hopefully it's a sign of things to come. Maybe some momentum swings here for you, and more trips up into the booth for that ride here in this series and all the other series that we have you in. But Jesse, heck of a run here tonight, man. A great performance and a great drive as you come home in P2, man. Who would you like to thank for such a great performance out there on the racetrack?
Thanks to my family and friends out there watching. My teammates been kind of working with Prince and Beverly and Bernard. Yeah, thanks to those guys. Thank you for the broadcast. Shout out to Liquid Death. Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to talk to you again, man.
Absolutely, brother. It's always fun having you up here in the booth, Jesse. Hopefully, we make a thing of it. More and more trips for you up here into the booth over the next, few months throughout the summer and playoffs here and all the series and everything else. And hopefully, one of these nights we'll get you back up here in Victory Lane first.
Yes, sir. I'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, you too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher. It's the number 4 machine of Jesse Calloway. Calloway comes home there in P2 here this evening. And now we'll get ready to pull in our third place finisher here today. It is the 51 ride of Joshua Moore. Moore comes home here in P3. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Josh, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth to get a copy.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Josh, man, another solid run, another good race here for you. Obviously, a lot of different strategies, a lot of back and forths, and obviously, right at the get-go, things going wrong for you. Obviously, you started down on pit road. Luckily enough, you're able to jump out there in that first stint and drive yourself up and through a lot of these different drivers and still come home with a top 10 run there in that first stage. Obviously, not in the stage point area, but throughout the night, man, you just kept battling, even late in this one with that final caution flag. I do believe you got the wave around back onto the lead lap, and then here you were trying to pick yourself through that traffic and everything else and try to get yourself up into contention to potentially win this race, and had to settle in there for third, though, late in this one. But, man, that was a hell of a run, hell of a drive for you, man. Take us back through it.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I got screwed over so many times. But yeah, first off, ended up missing the start somehow. I thought I had 40 seconds left. Guess not. So started on pit road, but ended up getting back out there and merging with the field pretty well and not losing, and only losing about 10 spots there. So that wasn't too bad. And I thought I was going to save my tires late for a run. So I didn't take my first set until lap 90. I knew I was going to go 2 laps down. It was just all about timing. I went 2 laps down and when I pit, and as soon as I pit, of course, the caution came out. I was stuck 2 laps down, so I wasn't even able to get back in the lead lap after that, which was my whole plan, which was a shame. But eventually got back on the lead lap there. And then for the next stop, I was on pretty fresh tires compared to the rest of the field. Drove up. I was going to get my lap back the old-fashioned way. And then I don't even remember what happened. This race has been a blur. This is going to be a race I'm going to try to forget. But yeah, ended up taking my fresh tires and then going another lap down on that last green flag run. And then caution came out again right after I pit. And ended up getting stuck a lap down, which I thought we were going to be able to get that wave around all the leaders pit in front of me, but iRacing screwed up somehow, and the leader passed me after he pit. So it happened to me and a couple other guys, so we ended up falling to the back and losing about probably like 10 laps of what could have been green flag run. So probably could have won this race if iRacing cooperated, but whatever. Good points day. I think that puts me about 18 points back from Matt since he missed tonight. But yeah, just gotta keep closing that gap. Good run for the Muhlenberg Custom Homes team.
Yeah, absolutely. A good run, a good battle, and just keeping with it, not giving up, not backing down all evening long, and you're able to get paid off for it with a solid third-place run here this evening. Josh, man, who would you like to thank for such a good run and great drive out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, first I got to thank Bruce Muhlenberger. Still frustrated, haven't gotten you a win, man. Soon, hopefully. But yeah, I got to thank him, and then I got to thank my teammates at Plus EV. Just me and Joe again tonight. These guys are always a blast to race with. Got to thank my parents for supporting me, watching this, paying the internet bill, paying the Wi-Fi bill. And then I got to thank Nate and all them for putting on the league. And then last, I got to thank you for broadcasting this thing.
Absolutely, brother. It's always my pleasure watching you guys duke it out there on the Speedway, and hopefully we'll get you right back up here in the booth next Monday and potentially, celebrating a victory here in the Metalheads Truck Series.
Hopefully soon.
Absolutely, brother. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Joshua Moore, as Moore comes home in position number 3 here this evening, man. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for him, as we will be back in action next week. I was thinking for some reason maybe it was a weekend off. What is America? You guys celebrate July 4th. Was this your July 4th weekend? I'm Canadian, so this was like our Canada Day weekend. Really, most people ended up working today, and tomorrow being July 1st is when we celebrate Canada Day, and tomorrow I think is like a holiday for most people, so most things are going to be closed and everything else, and it's really weird timing because it's on a Tuesday, which is super weird. I don't know why they wouldn't have just made it a long weekend and put it on the 30th. I don't know why they have it all messed up, but nonetheless, I mean, tomorrow for holiday for Canada Day, but I don't know if the U.S., if you guys were celebrating July 4th, I don't think you were, because I didn't really see any, streamer parties or anything big going on throughout this weekend, so I feel like potentially you guys celebrate July 4th next weekend, so, we'll be back here anyways on Monday, so that we won't miss any weeks. That'll be good. That'll keep us going. I think we do have another series or two that will be off throughout the rest of this week, and maybe even a week after that as well for the holiday. So streams maybe a little bit more sporadic, maybe a little bit more here and there, but we should be back in action. We'll be back here tomorrow night for the HCK Beagles Truck Series, and then I think they take a week off, and then we will be back Wednesday as well with our Wednesday Night Warriors, the Dirt Warrior Racing League. So we'll have those guys back in action there on Wednesday. Thursday we are off. Friday we're back. Saturday we're off as that series just ended. We'll have one race on Sunday. So we kind of bouncing back and forth here, and a little bit of a more sporadic and a little less streams here throughout the rest of this week and probably next week as well. So we'll keep you guys updated. We'll keep you guys known, and we can't wait to see you guys back in here tomorrow night as we'll be back in action here tomorrow evening with the HCK Beagles, as I do believe it is their final race of the first round of their playoffs. So that means we're going to get a race in, and that means we're going to have some craziness out there on the racetrack, and obviously be in the first elimination race for that series. It's going to be very, very interesting to see kind of how that plays out and how it's going to work out for everybody there in that one. Who's going to be able to transfer through and move on to the second round of the playoffs there. But listen, we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Everyone coming in, showing the love and enjoying the racing action here this evening. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and we will see you guys back up here in the booth tomorrow night. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all later, babe. We'll see y'all later. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the gay flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the gay flame.